Medical Courier Connection Podcast is brought to you by Key Software Systems. We believe that every delivery has a story, and it starts with you. That's why we built an ecosystem uniting accounting, delivery, tracking and shipping, reporting, and more to not only bring full delivery transparency to your customers, but to reduce errors and inefficiencies that stand in the way of over-delivering on your customer expectations. We'll drive the heavy lifting that keeps your business innovative with the latest technology so that you can focus on building connections with your customers.
Hey everybody, Ken with Integrity Medical Courier Training.
We are providing on-site training in Roseville, Minnesota.
A man's digits turn blue due to too much cannabis use. A woman in Melbourne, Australia dies after being scratched by Minty, her cat. Stole the hearse and dumped the body on the side of the road, still strapped to the gurney, and then continued on with their joyride. A dog had to be put down after it was crushed by a package thrown over a garden fence, its owners claim. So, stay compliant, my friends. Get all your medical courier training needs from us at www.integritydelivers.com. Hey. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Medical Courier Connection Podcast. You know, as I watch that open, I see the many changing hairstyles, and it makes me feel like a man in crisis, man. I just got to pick a style and stick with it, you know?
Yep. Chris started that trend of the long hair, and then we all kind of followed.
Yep.
At different times. Yeah.
There it is.
We all ended up cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of exciting things going on at Integrity Medical Courier Training and the Medical Courier Connection. You know, Integrity Medical's been around for 21 years. The Medical Courier Connection's been around for well over 10 years. And I mean, we've got a great history. We hosted 3 medical transportation summits, 2013, 14, and 15. And we've been doing a lot over the years to try and bridge that gap between the medical community and the courier services that want to service them. And so we thought we'd pop on today and talk a little bit about some of the changes that are coming to the MCC and some of the exciting features that some people may not know about. So actually, Linda, you do much better with the history of how the MCC got started. I thought you might want to share.
So it actually came about after our 2013 conference, our summit. We called it the Summit, Medical Courier Summit. And we had, more than 100 people that came to that conference. And we had leaders from all different venues of the healthcare industry that came and spoke. And this was, mostly managers and owners of courier services that were the attendees. And then we had, a great guy who did a whole sales presentation. Well, anyway, fast forward to when we all got together at the end of it and met to just kind of debrief on everything that had taken place, because it was such a great conference. It was so kind of overwhelming, honestly. And we realized that everybody from the healthcare people that were there speaking to the courier companies that were there learning and representing and just, making those great connections, that they were asking for more. And there wasn't anything like that. There's associations, courier associations everywhere. And so that very afternoon, we created the very first Twitter account, still Twitter, and called it Medical Courier Connection. And that's where it started. And since then, we have connected courier companies with healthcare and vice versa. And especially Justin can tell you during, I think it was 2020, and then he's also gotten some calls as well in the last year from people in the healthcare industry looking for companies that were trained and knowledgeable, have been certified, they know what they're doing out there. And it's a big deal. It's still something that people are looking for and truly something people need. That connection is everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when FedEx when FedEx Ground decided to stop transporting infectious agents, we had a couple of days there. Actually, it was about a week where the phones just rang off the hook
Yep.
from medical facilities as far away as Anchorage, Alaska, down to Miami, Florida, and everywhere in between, looking for qualified courier companies, and we were kind of giving them the referrals. And so,
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember. That's funny you're talking about the the seminars that you guys held, like the one at the Omni, the fireside chat.
Oh, love those.
You know, a bunch of different medical couriers and medical courier company owners staying up until, what was it, like 1 or 2 in the morning talking, just talking business and life. And there was a lot of good networking at that.
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of those things where we decided that whoever spoke at our conference had to be available to speak to the people that came to the conference. And so we have pictures of Dan Seidman and some of those other key speakers in that little fireside chat area, where they could get better access to the speakers rather than just speaker comes in, gives his spiel, and then he leaves, flies out, and you're kind of left in the afterglow. And so we were the first to do the fireside chat. Now it seems like some of the other agencies and associations have kind of picked up on it, but
It's a great feature.
Yeah.
It's really, it brings it all more down to a personal level.
sure.
Because as great as everything else is, I think you really make those connections with people when everybody's guard is down. You're not being official, stepping up on stage in front of a microphone. Everybody is just talking with one another, having drinks, having appetizers, whatever. And you're able to be a lot more human and personable.
Yeah.
So
You know
true.
who loves to socialize? Our chief of staff.
Hi.
There she is.
Nice segue. welcome, Faith. So Faith is going to be taking over. Faith's going to be the face of the Medical Courier Connection, if you will. But she's kind of taken the torch over and kind of going to be heading up a lot of the things that are going on. You want to talk a little bit about that, Faith?
Yeah, so I've always been really excited about the MCC ever since Ken started it about 10 years ago. So yeah, I'm really excited to spearhead this. I have a lot of vision for what the future will look like, so we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of the influencers out there right now, and you have Dayron with the CBA Academy, a lot of people join that, but it's just an opportunity. They've got a Telegram group, or is it Telegraph? I don't even know. Anyways, Telegram, where people hang out all day long, or they pop in and they ask questions. We actually have a Telegram group as well. Maybe we'll grow that as an extension later on. But I think couriers want easy access to information on how to step up their game and how to be effective and how to get a contract and how to just be a well-qualified courier. The Medical Courier Connection is part of that. Is what we do, is that continuing education, the information that they need to be the best that they can be. And so
Yeah, and we're going to dive into some of those features here in a little bit. We'll share our screen and show, because we've had a lot of people who purchase the membership to Medical Courier Connection and they don't realize all of the different features they have access to. And so they're not utilizing that membership to, all of its potential. So we'll dive into that here in a little bit.
sounds great. Chris and I just got back from Chicago about a week and a half ago at the ADLM, and we attended that Integrity Medical Courier training mainly. However, we were also there representing the Medical Courier Connection, and we are going to be doing more of these conferences where we're getting up on their level so that they're more and more aware of our membership and everything that they can access by having qualified and well-trained couriers that truly care about what they're doing. So that's one aspect of what we're going to be increasing, especially in 2026. But we also, we did some Friday, open mic times in the medical Courier Connection community. Justin, you'll talk about that in just a minute. We have also done virtual job fairs where we bring in speakers from courier companies that are looking for couriers. We're hoping to do more of those as well. But let's talk about the functionality of the MCC inside Thinkific within the community.
Cool. So I'll share my screen here real quick. Pull up that what they're looking at.
So first of all, when someone
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Justin, if you would start with the products that include this membership, I think that's a good spot so that they know what they're looking for.
Okay. So first off, to get to that, obviously you want to go to our website, www.integritydelivers.com. And that'll take you to our main site. Once you hover over Get Trained with your mouse, you're going to click on Online Courses here in the drop-down menu. And then as you scroll down, you'll see we've got a lot of different options here. On the very first row, the third option is that independent contractor membership to the Medical Courier Connection. Something that a lot of people seem to miss. It's got bloodborne and HIPAA in parentheses right here. So if you're getting that, you don't need specimen handling and transportation. You're doubling up on your certifications. If you think you might be interested in the membership, just do it right off the bat. But if you already have specimen handling and transport, and we can verify that by looking you up, we're happy to give you a discount code to upgrade to the Medical Courier Connection. So that discount will knock off $38.95 off of the $59 for the Medical Courier Connection. So you just go onto that page and then you can register there. So anyways, let's go back to what the customer is actually going to see once they have the membership. Okay, so when you're in your Thinkific student account, if you go over to products and then communities, you'll see it right here, Medical Specialty IC Courier Membership. So you just click on that. And then that takes you right into the Medical Courier Connection, all the different functions that you have. So basically your dashboard. Right now we're on the home page, and it says welcome Ken, obviously. Right here you can pop in if you want to ask a question of the community, or you've got recent victory, say you landed your first client and you want to share that. Any of that is welcome. The only thing we don't allow is people to come in here and solicit things. That will be taken down right away. But anyways, we've got a lot of good conversations going on in here. And then Linda, did you want me to point to anything specifically? You were talking about some stuff earlier.
Yeah. So if you go to announcements.
Yep.
That is, and then scroll down a little on that space there.
Oh, yep.
Right there, that very first thing, it talks about all the things you get with your membership to the Medical Courier Connection.
Right.
So now keep in mind, you're only paying $20.05 to be a member for an entire year.
Yep.
But out of that $20.05, what you're going to get back is access to all of the webinars and the everything we did at all three of our summits with all of the leaders in the industry. You get free access to that. You have to use a code that you are provided in that introductory email, introductory announcement. So always go there first once you become a member. But once you're the member, you put that code in and you've got access to all of those things. There's such good content in there. There's people who come on all the time and say, I got my certifications. What do I do now? Well, that depends on what industry you want to go in. So let's say you want to go into home infusion. Well, you're going to go to that insights and resources on the Medical Courier Connection, and you're going to find live live presentations, as well as webinars that we've done with leaders in that industry who are going to talk to you about what they look for in a medical courier, what kind of nuances, what kind of things you need to watch out for. So when you go and you shake the hand of somebody in that facility because you want to get their business, you're already knowing their language. You're already speaking their language. You're not going in there and stumbling over your words or asking them how much they're going to charge or how much they're going to pay. You're going to charge, they're going to pay. All of those things are what make new couriers in the industry trip. Yeah. Now that's definitely for companies that are looking to be, who want to be their own business. But this goes for independent contractors too, because when you go and talk to a courier owner or you're applying for that job, if you already know what you're doing in that industry because you have educated yourself, you're going to be at the top of the list. Yep. So maybe you want to go get a job with Quest Diagnostics or LabCorp, or you want to get a job with a pharmaceutical company as an employee. You want to get the benefits, or you want to be that IC and you want to work for a big company like Drop Off or Lab Logistics, or there's so many across the country. Knowing what you need to do when you walk into those clinics and those pharmacies and those hospitals, this is what's going to put you above everybody else.
Right. And just for people watching at home, a lot of people seem to miss this. So can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
So medicalcourierconnection.com. When you're there, you scroll down to the bottom and you go to member insights and resources. A lot of people seem to miss this for some reason. When you go in, Linda can kind of talk more about this, but there's so much stuff on here at their disposal that they're not utilizing, and it would help immensely if they would, it's all out there for them. They just got to know where it is, and that's kind of the point of this podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I will tell you that there are 3 links on there that are currently broken that our web designer is working on, but that's because we've expanded it and added new content to it. So the 2013, 2014, and 2015 summits, those are just going to open to a broken link currently, but they are working on it. Should be back up shortly, probably within the next couple of days. And once that's up, there's going to be a whole bunch of more new content that you're going to be able to have access to.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll notify the membership when those links are no longer broken.
Yep. Absolutely.
For example, should we talk a little bit about the resources tab?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. So when you click on resources, all kinds of different links here. And I didn't realize that these were links when I first looked at it.
Yeah.
Kind of threw me off. So I'm sure that's happened to someone else too. But yes, these are all links.
Yes.
So you want to point to any of those specifically, or?
Yeah. So, as an independent contractor, there's driver safety training in there. If somebody asks you that, tells you that they want you to get that, there's a link right there for any workforce management stuff. We have an in case of emergency form. You can download that. That should be, that one should be up and working. Technical cybersecurity, it depends on what you're doing. So are you using your own scanner, or are you using someone else's? Accounting, if you're an independent contractor, you better know how to do your taxes, because you are responsible for all of your own taxes. No one's going to pay your Social Security. No one's going to pay your federal, none of that. They're not taking it out of your checks. You're going to have to do that. So, make sure you know what you're doing there. If not, we've got a great class, financial master class, but you better make sure you're coffeeed up or caffeined up, and you got a pen and a paper ready, because that thing is 3.5 hours long and a lot of discussion.
And that one's here on this page, on our online courses page on integritydelivers.com.
Yeah.
When you scroll down on the online courses page, it's going to be in the, 3rd row down on the far right here. $39.
Yes.
However,
for everything that's in there.
There's no discount. That's the new price.
Wait, so the membership of the MCC.
The members. Okay, so yes, great point, Ken.
We won't give out the code, but
we won't give you the code on this podcast. However, if you are a member of the Medical Courier Connection, all future training, you get 10% off.
Wow.
So that you'll get $3.90 off that class. That starting your own business course, people tell me all the time, well, there wasn't a lot of information. It's a basic step-by-step, very first setup, but there's a great resource in it that kind of gives you an outline of all the different healthcare industries that you can look at and decide, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And then you take that list and you go back to all of our webinars and start watching those videos and decide what it is you want to start with. Because once you get started, you can add on, and that's how you grow, and that's how you become better at what you're doing, and that's how you add more drivers if you want to do that. Maybe you become a business rather than just an IC, or you go from making $4,000 a month to making $7,000 a month because you're adding on new industries to an existing route. So, or you're expanding what your offerings are as an independent contractor. And again, some of that is covered in the financial masterclass. But I will tell you that, that all the resources you get if you join Medical Courier Connection far, far, far is worth more than the $20.05 you're going to pay to become a member.
Yeah.
Great point.
Well, and for everything that's in that Medical Courier Financial Masterclass, $39 and getting 10% off as a member of the Medical Courier Connection is crazy, because it is 3 hours and 15 minutes of just it. For me personally, because I'm not a numbers guy, it kind of melted my brain. It was great though. As you know, if I were starting a medical courier company, I would absolutely want to do that Medical Courier Financial Masterclass, because it, one of the most popular questions I get asked as a CSR here is, how do I determine what I'm going to charge people? Well, it's in there. There's no list of an exact number, but it does help you to understand all of your expenses to a ridiculous, minute T, and your taxes and everything. And so for people who are just kind of getting into this, I would absolutely recommend doing that. So yeah, if you didn't know before, as a medical courier, as a member of the Medical Courier Connection, you get 10% off any of these courses with that code. And where can members find the code?
When they join, it's in the, go back one more.
Well, I don't want to show it on here.
Okay. But, it's in the announcements, I believe.
Okay.
When they first join, when they get into the community itself.
Yep.
It's in that very first, it's pinned to the top.
In the announcement.
They'll get it right. Yep. They'll get it in there.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And those are all the webinars and the live presentations. There's going to be a whole list of just blood bank and pathology, vet labs. I can't even category A specimens. That just you name it, it's there. So it was a lot of great content that they get for free.
Yep.
For free.
Yep. So a lot of members only content. We are working on building more and more, getting more and more courses in our library. Hopefully by this fall, we'll have a nuclear med course up. So if you want to deliver nuclear medicine, you got to be properly trained. We'll have that. We are talking with another company about the possibility of bringing in a full-on hazmat class, you guys. If you want your hazmat endorsement, we may actually have that up by the end of the year as well. And so we're constantly adding new content. But again, as a member, you get a discounted rate off of those courses, and you get access to courses that no one else does. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have other special events that we'll be doing in the future as well.
Sorry. I was going to say, I feel like we should briefly elaborate on what you mean by a hazmat class. A lot of
me
people
too.
get confused.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who get confused. They see our chemotherapy transportation course that we co-authored with Jerry Siegel, which is for medical couriers who are looking to transport chemotherapy medicine. Yes, it is in the hazmat family. This other course you're talking about, you want to kind of briefly explain what it is?
Would love to. So the chemotherapy course is not a hazardous material. It's not in the book. Okay, there is a book, Code of Federal Regulations, 49 CFR. I've actually been to a hazmat class, and so I got the manual. Yay me! But there are thousands of chemicals in here that alone may not pose a risk to people or the public. But once you set them by each other and one leaks into the other, you're talking a mushroom cloud that could kill a whole community. And so you got to know the different chemicals and how they interact with each other. There's 9 different classes of hazardous materials, believe it or not. I know this. There's 9 different classes, and you need to know what classes they are. There's markings that have to be on all the boxes that you transport hazardous materials. Chemotherapy, while it is a hazardous drug, because of the cancer drug lobby has been able to keep it out of the hazmat designation, to make it easier to get that drug to people, it is not listed in that same federal register. Okay, so if you're going to transport open canisters of liquid nitrogen, if you're going to transport canisters of oxygen or other caustic chemicals or flammable chemicals or other liquids that could again make people sick, you have to go through hazardous materials training. That's what that is. Justin, we get calls all day long where people ask, I need my hazmat training, and then you ask, what's the hazardous material? And they say lab specimens. Lab specimens are not a hazardous material. Well, it's got the biohazard sticker on it. Yes, it does, but it is not a hazardous material. And that's something we cover in our specimen handling and transportation course.
Right.
Knowledge is everything.
So this other hazmat training that you're bringing in, is it going to be for medical couriers or for someone else? Or
no, actually, the hazmat program would be for drivers that are getting their CDL, whether they're driving locally or over the road. So that is the required. By the way, if you have a CDL, if you want to carry any kind of hazardous material, you got to have your hazmat endorsement. That's what this would be. But you can be a non-hazmat CDL. In other words, you can be a trucker that drives just supplies, wood or metal or things like that, and they're not hazardous. But once you start transporting items that are in this federal register, 49 CFR, that's where you need the hazardous materials training. And if you get caught transporting hazmat without the endorsement or the certification, massive trouble for you and the company.
So can you tell them why hazardous drugs is not in there? Would you explain that?
Yeah, I thought I touched on it. Because first of all, chemotherapy medicine, while it is dangerous to you and the public, in other words, back in 2013, I think it was, we had a representative from one of our pharmacy clients from Denver who spoke at that convention at the Medical Transportation Summit. He told us a story where he, as the logistics manager for that pharmacy, had an exposure incident where he got chemotherapy medicine on his car keys, and then he was distracted and put the car keys in his mouth. And as a result, his tongue swelled up to 3 times the normal size. He had to go to the ER. Now, that's an issue. Hazmat drugs can be dangerous to you and the public. It even can lead to cancer. But the reason it's not in the hazardous materials registrar, for example, is that the cancer lobby wanted to make sure that we could keep that medication available to the public, and it's easier to move on the roads via courier if you don't have the placarding and the full hazmat training. So
plus they're not carrying as much either.
That's correct. In smaller amounts, that's true. but it is like Carl always says about nuclear medicine. You could be transporting nuclear med the size of a grain of rice, and while it's not super dangerous to the widespread public, there are still regulations about how you have to safely handle and transport it. So having that training, you got to have it. If you get pulled over and you're transporting one dose the size of the grain of rice, and you don't have the training and you don't have the proof of training and things like that, it can lead to all sorts of fines and trouble for the company.
It's exciting. It's exciting that, might be partnering with that company. So that'll be something to look out for if you're listening.
Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, look, we've got a comprehensive library, and that library is growing, by the day. Faith added her dental lab course. Chris added his course on marketing, digital marketing online, marketing your courier service online. So there's no reason you should be looking other places for your education and continuing knowledge. I mean, Integrity Medical, integritydelivers.com has it all. And so we're adding more and more courses. And if we get to that point where we've got nuclear med and hazmat, that's going to about cover most of it.
Yeah.
So
no, I have a whole I've got a whole list of more things that I want to add. So
okay, that's going to handle some of it.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm the admin brain here. And I think in admin everything. But there's so many factors about, and this is important for our audience when we're talking about Medical Courier Connection, because you guys are going to be servicing these healthcare industries, and to know what you're doing, not only in transporting specimens so you don't ruin them, not only in transporting, hazardous drugs so you don't expose yourself or someone else to chemotherapy drugs, but also driving safely, not knowing what to do if you come upon an active shooter in a nursing home or something like that. Knowing, there's so many, it's endless. I mean, I can think right off the top of my head, I'm thinking about 12 more classes that I would like to get up or share. Maybe incorporating some partnerships with some of the companies that do that and do that well. So
we talked about courier behaviors.
Yes,
not everybody should be in a medical courier. And I remember we hired a guy years ago. I won't call his name. He's departed now, but he was a former Marine. He was kind of salty, kind of gruff. And, he would push people out of the way in a clinic setting and make bodily noises and stuff like that. And, medical couriers, we have to understand that we're dealing with patients in a crisis, right? Yeah. We're dealing with medical professionals who are expecting you to act professionally. There are drivers that acted in an inappropriate way physically to lab techs. They said the wrong thing. So there's, we'll have a course hopefully early 2026 about a medical courier ABCs, attitudes, behaviors, and consequences. There can be consequences to poor behavior for medical couriers in a clinical setting. Remember, we are working with medical professionals to deliver excellent patient care. So,
yeah. For sure.
Faith,
and not all of them will be a cost. Some of those are going to be free to our community.
Yeah.
Nice. Faith, what are some of the things that you were talking about that you're excited for or that you maybe envision for the future of the Medical Courier Connection? Do you have anything off the top of your head?
Yes. Yeah. So one of the things, if you can share your screen again and go to the business directory.
Yeah.
So our training is fantastic. You're going to learn stuff that you're not going to learn anywhere else. So once you do our training and you are part of the MCC, so first of all, you can't join the MCC until you've taken our training. And that's because we want people that have quality training and actually know what they're doing out on the road. But you are also going to be added into our business directory on the Medical Courier Connection. So we have it broken down by companies and independent contractors. So independent contractors can go to the companies and, in their area, you can search by state and see if they have openings. So that's one of the things. But my vision is, so Justin's going to do it right here.
You have to do MN.
Oh.
State, yeah, that's okay. I made the same mistake myself. I'm like, why is nothing coming up?
You can also just click state and it'll go to
oh yeah,
medical order. But
I don't know that it did that for me.
but my one of my visions for it is that we're going to have labs going to this business directory to find drivers, because then they know that they get good quality training and they know what to expect from them. So that's number one. We already started reaching out to labs with the convention that Ken and Chris went to just a few weeks ago. So my other vision for it that I'm really excited about is that a lot of our clients are independent contractors. And when you're an independent contractor, you don't get good benefits that you do when you're a W-2 employee for a company. So you don't get a gas card. You don't get discounts on your car maintenance, flights, your phone bill, stuff like that. So I really am working on getting us discounts for our medical courier members so that they can get, discounts and benefits for that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a lot of pages of independent contractors. There are a lot of members of the Medical Courier Connection.
Absolutely. And you know what I'd like to point out about that is that they can reach out to people in their own region and network with them. There's no reason why they can't do that. Yeah. So, that's another great thing for them to be able to, get some advice. What have you seen in the markets here? That kind of thing. Maybe you get a route that you need a backup person for. Where are you going to go to find a backup person? Well, all these people on this list have been trained just like you were.
Yeah.
So reach out to people in your area for that kind of backup work and help. In
598 pages of drivers and growing. 598 drivers.
Yeah, 598 drivers.
Yeah, it's 24 pages. It looks like.
Growing, by the day. I mean, I get people calling every single day, interested in the community.
Yeah.
So
it was only good for a year. So every year when you renew, you have to not only renew your bloodborne and your specimen handling and transportation. You have to renew that, but make sure you're renew your Medical Courier Connection as well, or you will just be taken off the list and you'll lose that access.
Yeah.
Linda, I have a question. Can we pull a report on the membership and see where the highest concentration of members are from? Is that possible?
I'm sure. Yeah.
I can
do anything with Excel.
I have an idea that just kind of popped into my head. I would love to do an MCC mixer where we fly into a city and we host a night of cocktails and finger foods and just network with our membership and share ideas, build relationships, and talk strategy. So let's talk a little bit about that in the future, and maybe we can start making some announcements on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to do another Medical Courier Connection summit where, I've already got location in mind, a list of topics that I've been saving, and even venues. But that's something that Faith and I would, she obviously will lead it and head it up. But
it has a fishing pond.
I don't know. Do they have fishing ponds in North Carolina? Because that's what I'm looking at.
I'll just go to the ocean.
Yeah, listen, that would be really exciting. I mean,
we're due.
We are due.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of root beer are you in there, Chris?
It's Rocky Mountain root beer.
Oh, that stuff's good.
Oh, yeah, we're looking for sponsors. So Rocky Mountain Root Beer, if you'd like to sponsor Medical Courier Connection, we would love to have you.
Or Waterloo. I mean, I buy this stuff by the case. So
there you go.
I was just having Waterloo.
Wow.
How are we not sponsored yet?
Right.
Yes, brought to you by Waterloo.
Well, listen, we just wanted to come on and give you guys an update of exciting things that are happening. The Medical Courier Connection has been simmering in the background, adding members on a regular basis. And in the following months, we're going to be having exciting announcements. And really, Faith, injecting new life into the MCC as we move forward, and maybe look into 2026. Maybe we'll have a special event like a mixer or something larger. Who knows?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
And stay
Anything-
connected. Don't
Yes.
just join the Medical Courier Connection and then never check back in.
Absolutely.
Boy,
Once
that's
you've
for
got your
sure.
certification, come back in, post stuff, talk to other people, let people know what you're seeing. Post when you get your first route or your first big win. Post that stuff. That's great. That's what people are shooting for, and that's what we want to see you guys accomplish.
Yeah, the membership really is the life of the MCC, aren't they?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Share encouragement with other people who are, honestly, we want to try to think of each other as, we're all colleagues in patient care. We're not necessarily competition, and especially if we're all members of the MCC, give people words of encouragement, because there are a lot of people who try to get into it and struggle, but with all these resources that we've shown now, and hopefully that kind of clears some things up. Go into your dashboard on Thinkific and navigate around and go to medicalcourierconnection.com and check the different tabs and the resources at the bottom. You do have to enter the password that's pinned in the announcements in the Thinkific community. So when you go to your community, you'll see that code. And then when you go to medicalcourierconnection.com, it'll ask you for that passcode for the member resources and insights. It's a public website, but that part is password protected. So if you're a member, you can get in there with that passcode. But
and the reason the business directory is fully accessible is because we have the healthcare industry going there freely and looking stuff up for themselves. So that they can contact you guys. Courier companies as well. If they're looking for couriers in their area for something, we're telling them just go to the business directory, type in where you're looking for them, and they may email or call you. So keep checking your emails, folks.
That's a big one.
Just
your email is valid, and make sure that you have a voicemail box that is set up, because that is a major issue we've ran into. People starting businesses and stuff, and we have no way of reaching you. So make sure, it wouldn't hurt to set up a business email, because I've seen some pretty inappropriate ones that people have registered with. And you don't want to be trying to get contracts with an email name like that. So make it professional, make it have something to do with your company, and then set up your voicemail box and be ready for business to come your way. You got to think about the little things like that, because they do make a world of difference.
Sure do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anything else anybody would like to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We have every podcast in a playlist for you to binge. And the links to anything that we've been talking about, to the MCC, to our website, are all going to be in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and Podchaser.
Wow.
Nice.
I didn't even know that there were that many streaming services for podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't either. I thought it was just Spotify.
I knew like.
We can go through
Awesome.
statistics. I can share my screen real quick if you guys want. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
we'll
So
see.
if you're interested in joining the MCC, reach out. You can get it on the online courses page. If you already have got your Bloodborne and HIPAA through us, we'd be happy to give you the coupon code. Give us a call or email us at info@integritydelivers.com. We have been having an issue with those. I'll might as well put it out there. They've been going to the junk folder, where we've got our IT person working on that right now. So trying to figure that out. But you can always call us 719-502-7081.
Join the community, you guys. You don't have to do this alone. We are a community of couriers, and let's do this together. So join the Medical Courier Connection And we'll see you at our next podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah. Hey everybody, Ken with Integrity Medical Courier Training here.
And this is what's happening, right? So with such a serious subject, but he's able to inject humor. So it's in our best interest to invest not only in safety, but give some of those dividends back to the drivers.
I'm like, how do you start this medical courier stuff? And nobody had a mentorship. Nobody told me what industry events to go through.
So I was thinking, like, I need a name for my first conference. And it just dawned on me, use the name that they keep calling me. And I was like, yeah, the Boss Maker Conference.
You're learning so many important things, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that sounds a bit expensive. I think I'll just train them myself. After all, this isn't rocket science.
And we have liftoff of